Cubase 40 Pro is, in my opinion, the best upgrade since a long time, and in this video I will share you my highlights. When you now look at any plugin in Cubase, you see this new icon. This one will give you access to the new modulators. This basically is a completely new modulation section for every plugin you own. It works very straightforward. You select any of the modulators and decide what it should modulate in the plugin from this list or use Learn. And you're not limited to one modulator. You can have more, which all can control their own parameter, or have them modulate the same control. With the envelope modulator, you even get a sidechain option. And that can open a really interesting rabbit hole. There are two new toys for producers. The new Pattern MIDI programmer and drum machine. Pattern reminds me a lot of the older drum editor you can find in Cubase. It basically is a MIDI-based step sequencer like you would find in, let's say, Reason. And really, this one has been long overdue. You can very quickly program rhythms and patterns. It's obviously ideal for drums. But arpeggios are created quickly with this one as well. This programming method can be chosen as alternative to the normal MIDI programming method in Cubase, and I see myself using this one a lot. Drum Machine looks like it's basically Groove Agent SE with a layering option. You can drop samples or select some of the sounds here below. For some reason the drag and drop in here didn't work for me, maybe it's a bug right now. I could drag one sample onto the pads. With version 14, Spectral Layers 1 is gone. And now we get Spectral Layers Go, the most basic form of Spectral Layers. This one does have the most essential tools of Spectral Layers, which are the editor and the vocal unmixing tool, which is top notch. There are 4 new plugins in Cubase 14. First is a new studio delay that comes with a whole lot of extras like modulation options, overdrive and reverb. There's a new, very capable shimmer effect. Here's Underwater, which is a resonant low-pass filter. This one will be appreciated for those who want that typical sound in breakdowns and more. And there's a new auto filter which has sidechain. Now in regards of mixing, there are some big improvements as well, and also long overdue. The first one is that the mix console can now be opened with all its functions in the lower panel, instead of the simplified console we got in previous Cubase versions. Thank you Steinberg for that. From here you can now also change the order of the tracks, both in the console and on the timeline. This is also possible in the separate mixing console if you need that. This is also something which is very welcome and also possible in other DAWs. Another new long overdue feature are the advanced gain editing options on the waveforms. Cubase always had simple volume controls with the waveform, but now you can adjust these in a macro way as well. It now functions more like the separate volume fader automation control you always had in Cubase. Now for me, with how I use Cubase, the biggest improvement is this one. You now get multi-assignment audio connections, which means that device ports for external effects or instruments can now be shared. Why is this so nice? Well, I mix in a hybrid way with plugins and external hardware. A lot of this hardware also does double duty in my recording sessions. I use this hardware in mixing with the Cubase external effects. Here you basically set up hardware as a plugin with the added benefit of level control and latency compensation. Previously, because my hardware does double duty, I always had to manually assign input and outputs every time I switched from recording to mixing and vice versa, and me being me, I always lost track of which input goes where. Now this is not needed anymore. This simple change makes setting up your gear for recording and mixing so much easier. I love it. Cubase has always been one of the most expensive DAWs you could buy, and the same goes for the upgrade pricing. This is also steep, as per usual, unfortunately. If you upgrade every year like I do, it'll cost you €100 including VAT, which is over €8 per month. But all in all, for me as a Cubase user, version 14 is an excellent update, and I look forward to your "my DAW is bigger than yours" comments.